Have you just found out that you are the fourth best friend in your friend group? Listen, it sucks. I get it. Sometimes your buddies are playing with somebody else and you just don't get invited to the party. And so you have to face the dreaded onslaught of solo queue. Which is why I wanted to give you the confidence that you can. Yes, you can win solo games. In fact, I believe after this video and with a little bit of practice and a bit of a change in your mindset, you can actually win more games solo queuing than with your friends. That is, of course, unless your friend is named Shroud or, Shroud, or if your friend is Shroud, then basically you're gonna win all the time anyway. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about me. I do come from Smite and Paladins, both competitive games with hero shooter kind of character ability based elements that require shooting, that require strategy, and I always have solo queued those games. Whenever I've played ranked or pushed any type of milestone in that game, it has always been me because I've been getting content for it. I don't like Discord voices, so I feel like I have some great expertise to be able to give people on what it's like to actually solo queue and how I've found success in it. Again, these are my tips. This is my experience. There's a lot of things I see players do wrong when they are on my team that I feel like they could do better, so I want to give that information to you all because I think that you can get some wins. Like if I'm getting 3 to 4 wins in a row with randoms, I think you guys can do that too. So let's go ahead and break it down, getting in with the very first tip. Now, the very first tip is to identify who you are playing with in your solo queue games. Now, this doesn't mean like, okay, is he a streamer? Look his name up, look his address up on Google. No. Try to figure out what type of crew you've got. Do you have a duo, which is, 2 players who are queuing together and they're not going to treat you like you mean anything? Or are they going to run away, do their own little adventure, and you're just going to have to keep up? That's really important information. As a solo queue player, you need to acknowledge who is on your squad. If you have a bunch of, individuals who are all soloing and you're all over the place, you may need to take control of the fight. And one of the things I found is that if I have a duo, it's actually better for me to not try to go against what they're doing and just to work with them, to kind of be their third, to not make any mistakes, not be too committal, but work with them. They're usually pretty competent because they're working together. And if I stay in the fight, if I get a kill, if I contribute some damage, if I use my abilities well, maybe see a spot to use my ultimate, things usually work out. One of the big things is you get to see the tendencies of what the players are if you just observe them for a while. If you're focused on yourself, you may not realize that your teammates are very passive, or that they're going off by themselves in a different direction, or they revive themselves and they don't really worry about reviving you. If that happens, you may realize that, wait, I need to be the third guy in the fight. If I go down first, they're not going to pick me up. So that means I have to play back. Maybe I should run a sniper this game, or maybe get good at my wingman. Maybe just use my skills defensively rather than pushing. Let them push and be the guy that revives them. I've also noticed that when you do that, when you play within their rhythm, they're much more likely to support you in your endeavors. They're more likely to raise you if you've already gotten a kill or you've contributed some damage, or you hit them with that clutch revive or shield that saved their life. All of those things make people say, oh wait, you know what? This guy on my team, I don't know him, but he's actually doing well. Let me get him up. Let me take a risk and get his banner back and get him back in the game. Those can be game-changing moments that give players confidence in who you are, even though you're solo queue. The second tip is to communicate. Now, communication can happen in a couple of ways. Solo queues oftentimes utilize mics, but they oftentimes don't. But in Apex Legends, you have the benefit of the ping system, and it's so extensive that if you're not using it, you are missing out on an opportunity to get more wins. Listen, you gotta understand that miscommunication can start wars. It can literally end marriages and friendships. So why would it not be able to ruin your chances of winning a game in Apex Legends? Creating a good communication environment by just saying hello, chatting when somebody gives you some meds, or maybe just using your mic if you have one, can honestly be the difference maker. And it's one of the things that you'd be surprised isn't as easy to come by in certain friend groups. Now, you don't have to talk all the time, but one of the greatest things to do is just ping enemies whenever you see them. Also, communicate where you want to land, what guns you have, and what loot you drop that might be valuable for your teammates. If you drop a really nice extended magazine, or you drop a really good gun that you're not using or you run across, teammates feel, I think, indebted to you in some ways. They say like, oh, this guy's nice, he's thinking of me, he's aware of the team, therefore I'll be aware of him, and thus we'll be able to take this fight as a group, not a bunch of individuals. Another important thing I didn't start doing till a few days ago is actually when someone pings a location that they want to move, you can actually hover your cursor over it and say okay. If you ping that location yourself, your character will say, yeah, I'm down to go there, and that just allows that person who made made that call to feel like they've been heard. And when you're heard, you're more likely to listen. And when you make a call next time, like there's an enemy there, they're gonna trust that feedback. If they're just pinging all over, you never follow them, you always go your own route, you act selfish, look selfish, and do your own thing looking for kills, they're not gonna trust you. They're not gonna care if you get yourself in trouble because you didn't listen to their pings. Why would they listen to yours? And if you're one of those people who solo queues and likes to tell everyone else why they're doing something wrong or why they're not in the right position, maybe you can consider looking at the opportunity to promote what they did well instead. Say, hey, I like that shield. I like the way we were together in that fight. I think that will encourage them to do it more. If you kind of just diss on them and they don't know you, that's a pretty bad first impression. They're probably going to ignore you for the rest of the game. Now, the number 3 tip is very important, and it happens to be an early game tip, and it's to disengage fights that are obviously going to get you killed. Now, there's this huge conversation that I've wanted to have with everyone about what people do to get kills versus what they could be doing to get wins. Eventually, wins will be more rewarding to you. Even if you didn't get a lot of kills in that game, if you win, you will leave that lobby feeling much happier than if you got a few kills and choked a fight, died, and are just salty that now you're not going to get the W and you have to start from scratch again. When someone is low and you know you can finish them off, but you have to use your ammo and reveal your location, disengaging can be a very hard thing to do. But if you're solo queuing and you don't have a homie to back you up if you're going that ham, it's better to fall back and wait to fight another day. Now, there are situations where disengaging is the wrong call, where finishing off someone with a legendary knockdown shield might be more important, or just finishing someone off that you know you won't be able to keep track of and might come back to haunt you. All those situations are things you're going to have to make the play of. But what I'm talking about is the guy who's solo queuing with a solo queue mentality. Like, the life that I'm living is all about me, and I'm looking for my kills to increase, not our team to be successful. So I'm going to thirst this guy. I'm going to waste all of my ammo, and then when the rest of the team shows up, I'm not going to have enough in the clip to fight back, and my whole squad is going to be eliminated. Patience will win you more games. It will undoubtedly make you more successful in solo queue, and it will undoubtedly mean that you make better decisions because you'll have more information. I mean, the gameplay you're watching right now is because my teammates slow played the hell out of this fight, and actually as a single player, we dropped in as 2, not 3, 2, and didn't know each other at all. As a single player, he managed a fight of like 5 to 8 people, and I ended up getting revived and actually helped him to win the final fight when he was basically down. That is the example of what it can be to slow play a fight, because if you come out at the end, you get all the loot. You don't have to have anything. You get the last shot, you're the last man standing, you get access to all the goodies. At the end of the day, if you disengage and slow play some of these fights, you will find yourself knowing exactly the situation and be able to handle it with ease and grace. It's like a teacher who tells you what's going to be on the final. All you got to do is study those problems and you're ready to go. No pop quizzes here. Once you know all the information, you're ready to tackle it and succeed. Now, moving on to number 4, this tip is to land in places where you can get everyone geared and not die immediately, aka avoid the hot zones. No, I know I sound like a chump right now. Everyone's like, yo, Rain Day, you don't drop hot? What? That's the play, man. Come on, that's what you got to do. But in solo queue, it's different. I'm not dropping with my boys. I'm dropping with randos. And the truth is, if you can get everybody geared up and alive after the fighting skirmish at the beginning of a game, you've got a seriously good chance of winning. Now, the amount of hot zones I've seen solo queue players drop me into is outrageous. These brothers show up late, and then they also drop us into the hottest place possible and don't have a mic. Like, how do you expect us to get out of this hot zone when I don't know what you're about to do? I don't know what gun you have. I don't know what situation is going on over there. I just see your health slowly depleting, and I'm running as fast as I can. Whoops, there's 8 people shooting at you, and now I'm dead. And let alone you win that fight, there's probably more people who are rotating, who have looted safer areas, heard the shots, and are now making their way to clean you up. It is just super hard to win games landing in the hot zone because it means that you're not having a lot of good time to heal. If you don't get meds, if you don't get good armor, you're pretty much screwed. And the best way to really go about winning your games is to land in a place where everyone can get looted, where you can get a decent gun, and you can also have some meds and shields. And I hate to admit this, guys, I really do, but I win so much more when I can get fully kitted. When I have good guns, when I have good loot, when I have meds, I win more, wouldn't you know? So dropping hot as a solo squad is one of the silliest things you could do. Some people say, well, I just want to frag. Some people will say, well, I just want to get good at combat, but it's not really a good training exercise to get shot from below you, above you, behind you, you know, and in front of you. I mean, how can you train when 8 people are shooting at you in a hot zone? Although any great group of communicating teammates who are on Discord or any other voice chat application could probably manage a hot zone, you as a solo queue player probably can't. Your team will be overwhelmed, so it's better to drop in a place where you can all get looted. You'll have an inherent advantage or stay neutral in these fights, and that way your lack of communication can be overcome with your good loot. Now, I respect players trying to learn spaces on the map. I respect teams and individuals trying to go to Skulltown a lot, or go to Market, or go to a place where they want to just master the art of fighting there. And that's understandable, but I think you just have to have the caveat or the understanding that you're probably not giving you and your solo team the best chance to win. So this is about winning. This is about getting more W's, and if you're really in need of one, I would suggest dropping a little bit farther out the next game and seeing how that works for you. Another reason why dropping farther out is a little bit better is because you usually push with the circle, and that means no teams come from behind you. One of the hardest things as a solo crew team is to actually manage a situation where you're on the back foot, because you have to ping. You can't really talk about it. Maybe you do have some mics, but not everyone's on that same constantly communicating page. So if you get caught off guard, it's bad. Rotating with the circle means you don't have anyone behind you and you can actually surprise other teams, so that puts you at a little bit of an advantage as well. Now, I actually have 2 more tips, but I'm going to put the last one in and then put the 6th one as more of like a idea, like a mentality that I think will help you to win more games. So the 5th and final tip is to not over loot as a team, as an individual, excuse me, because your team needs loot as well. One of the things I see when solo queuing is guys panic, they drop below me, we're maybe taking the same flight pattern, or maybe someone follows me. I see a lot of solo queue players stick with me when I'm dropping, and we run the same direction. The other thing I see is that when they get to a case next to me, and maybe we have a couple cases by ourselves and the other team has a few cases, they take both guns in the case. Like, I know you can carry 2 guns, but it's early game and you have 2. I don't have any. Now, I can't contribute to this fight. We can't win because you're panicked just looting everything. If you see that happen, try to educate your teammates to, hey, leave me a gun, drop me a gun, I need some meds. Oftentimes, a lot of teams will just not really know if they want to share their stuff with you because they don't know if you're good yet and can contribute to the gunfight. But if you just ask, if you just politely say, hey, I need meds, or hey, ping that you maybe need a gun, all of those things might allow that player to say, all right, well, he knows I took the guns, I could drop him this Mozambique. Like, what do I really need that for? You know, I'll save some shotgun ammo in case I find an EVA 8, but let's give him at least a gun to try to contribute. You'd be surprised how much that matters in not only your rapport with your teammates, but also just winning those early fights. Everyone needs a chance to support you, even if you're a legend. Giving your other teammates a gun is a big thing to help you win more solo queue games. Now, this is getting close to the end of the video, and I hope you guys did find value in it. These are just some of the tips I found to improve my win record at solo queuing, some of the common mistakes I've seen people make, and how to avoid them. Obviously, if you have a great team that you play with, these may not apply to you, but if you do know people who solo queue and you think this might help, make sure to send it their way and share the video. Now, last but not least, one thing I can recommend that will help not only you as a solo queue player looking for wins, but also as an Apex Legends player in general, is to take accountability for your actions. You are in charge of your successes and your failures. Now, that may not be true about every situation. Sometimes you do get unlucky, but if you take the mentality that everything I do is in my control, every shot I could have hit, every position I might have been pushed too far away from my team, every rotation could have been done a little faster or maybe at a better angle. If you do that, the locus of control will allow you to constantly be improving yourself. It's very healthy to blame external circumstances, to say the test was hard and that's why I didn't get a good grade. But that just means you might be comfortable not studying for the next test and saying that, man, this teacher gives a crazy hard test, I just can't ever pass them. If you take the onus upon yourself to improve, and as a solo queue player, you do not blame your teammates for their bad positioning, but you focus yet on yours. You look at, how can I make this situation, how can I do what needs to be done here to get a win? You will find yourself not just winning more games, but I think becoming a better player, because that's how you improve. You look at your opportunities to improve, not how everybody else sucks or is good. LeBron didn't become become a great basketball player by looking at Kobe and saying that Kobe's bad. He got good because he looked at his own game. That's how you improve. So as any Apex Legends player, any solo queue player, I want to give that last piece of advice because that's truly the way I think. That's what never give up, never stop gaming means. The ability to know that things aren't always going to go great, but I will constantly keep improving. I will always be on the mission to better myself. And hopefully that resonates with all of you. Thank you everybody for supporting the channel recently. It's been absolutely insane the amount of support that's been coming through to the Rainstorm. And I just want to say thank you, welcome. You are in one of the best places on the internet to be in terms of gaming and just in terms of having a good time. I always try to uplift you guys with videos and make helpful content. And I'm really glad people are connecting with that in this day and age where it could be a little toxic sometimes out there in the internet. As always, my friends, remember to never give up, never stop gaming. Leave a like if you enjoy the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.